The Breeders' Crown, presented by the Liebfeld Cats Breeding Partnership, is harness racing's richest and most prestigious championship event, with $6 million in purses over 2 nights. Tune in on October 30th and 31st to watch and wager on the 37th edition of the Breeders' Crown. Live from Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino. First post is 6 p.m. Eastern Time, both nights. Visit harrahshoosierpark.com for a live stream, a complimentary race program, and more information on ticket availability. The 2020 Breeders' Crown will be a ticketed-only event held in a reduced capacity format. Visit harrahshoosierpark.com for more info.
Welcome, everyone, to the first night of Breeders' Crown 2020. And when I say welcome, I mean welcome to everyone here at Harrah's Hoosier Park this evening, and also welcome to those who are watching via live stream online. Glad to have you. Glad that you are watching. Tonight, we're going to draw the last 4 Breeders' Crown races over the weekend. We drew 8 races. We drew 4 on Friday night, 4 on Saturday night, and we will draw the open pace, the open trot, 3-year-old cold trot, and 3-year-old cold pace. I am Rick Moore, Vice President, General Manager of Racing here at Harrah's Hoosier Park. Joining me on the stage, Mr. John Campbell, President of the Hambletonian Society. John, so good to have you, and thank you for entrusting the Breeders' Crown to us here at Harrah's Hoosier Park. Mr. Kevin Gum, a judge with the Indiana Horse Racing Commission. John Merkel, horseman's representative for the Indiana Standardbred Association. Mr. Scott Piney, Director of Racing here at Harrah's Hoosier Park. Gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you for the draw of the open pace, followed by the open trot, followed by the 3-year-old colt trot, and 3-year-old colt pace.
All right, the open pace did not require an elimination. There were only 10 that entered, so you put 10 pills in. I'll be a random draw. Dancing Lou, 8. Century Pharaoh, 7.
9.
Better's Wish, 9.
6.
Backstreet Shadow, 6.
3.
Western Joe, 3.
10.
This is the plan, 10.
5.
Sintra, 5.
1. Section line Biggery.
Section line Biggery, 1.
2.
2 is Filibuster Hanover.
And 4.
Dorsadero Hanover, 4.
There is your open pace.
All right, this is the open trot, the same thing as the open pace. There was only 10 that entered. They go straight to the final. There was not an elimination, all a random draw for the 10 post positions.
Three.
Gimpanzee, 3.
Slow down just a minute. Slow down. 10.
$50 bill, 10.
9. Crystal Fashion. 9.
Crystal Fashion, 9.
John, hold up for a second. We can't keep up. 5. Atlanta. 5.
Atlanta, 5.
7. Soul Strong, 7.
Soul Strong, 7.
4. Reign of Honor.
Reign of Honor 4. Mission accepted 1.
3.
Majestic Player 2.
6. Lindy the Great 6.
Lindy the Great 6.
And 8.
The 8.
Catkin American.
Catkin American 8.
That is your open trot. In just a minute, we will do the draw for the 3-year-old colt trot. Give us just a minute.
The 3-year-old colt trot. The also eligibles. The 2 6th place finishers. The preference by highest seasonal earnings. AE1. L Ideal. Also eligible 2. King Alfonso. The 2 elimination winners. Capricornus and Amigo Volo. They will draw for post positions 1 through 5.
Two. Amigo Volo 2.
Amigo Volo 2.
1. Capricornus 1.
Capricornus 1.
Oh, yeah. Back of the neck 7.
Back of the neck 7.
3. Ready for money 3.
Ready for money 3.
4. Yeah. Play tricks on me 4.
Play tricks on me 4.
Yes. 6.
What's that? Warley Bike.
Mr. Iman 6.
Mr. Amon 6.
5. Hill Exotic 5.
Hill Exotic 5.
10.
She got a whole bunch.
Gangster Hanover 10.
Yeah, yeah. Sponstead.
9.
Sponstead.
Chestnut Hill 9.
Chestnut Hill 9. And the 8.
8. Bean.
Beads is 8. What 3-year-old colt pace?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, the 3-year-old colt pace. The 2 also eligibles. The 2 6th place finisher. Again, preference by highest seasonal earnings. AE1, Catch the Fire. AE2, Indictable Hanover. The 2 elimination winners. Tall Dark Stranger. Cattle Wash. They will draw for post positions 1 through 5.
Three. Cattle Wash 3.
Cattle Wash 3.
1. Tall Dark Stranger 1.
Tall Dark Stranger 1.
No losing. 6.
No losing 6.
2. Manticore. 2.
Manticore 2.
10. Elver Hanover. 10.
Elver Hanover 10.
7. Captain Barbosa. 7.
Captain Barbosa 7.
4. Warrawee Vital. 4.
Warrawee Vital 4.
9. The Great Freak. 9.
The Greek Freak 9.
5. Save Me a Dance. 5.
Save Me a Dance 5.
And 8. Stand Between My Toes. 8.
Sand Between My Toes 8.
That concludes the 3-year-old pace. Now, I do know we have a couple trainers in attendance this evening, and I'm going to ask trainer Robert Fellows if he would come forward. I'd love to ask him a couple questions about his trainee, Warrawee Vital. So, Robert, if you come forward. Scott, can you give him a microphone, please? Robert, thanks for being here this evening. Your colt, Warrawee Vital, chased Tall Dark Stranger right to the wire the other night. Outstanding performance. You drew well for this weekend, for Saturday night. Your thoughts on your colt, on where you drew in the field in general?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here, for our ownership group and our horse for sure. The post position couldn't be better for us. It's going to be a tough race. The best horses are inside. Of course, Tall Dark Stranger is the horse that everybody will be tracking in this race, and we're going to need some kind of a break.
So a question for you, for your horse, Warrawee Vital. What will you do with him leading up? For the folks that like to know, what do you do with a horse like this who just raced really hard over the weekend, and now you're trying to bring him up to an even higher peak performance this Saturday? What will you do with him to get him to his ultimate, hopefully Saturday night?
Well, this week's supposed to be a lot of rain out here, so we'll try to keep him healthy. The weather changes and the traveling he's done over the last month, so health is a big thing. They're as fit as they're going to be going into this race now, so it's just a matter of keeping them healthy and sound for the week.
How's he doing? Is he eating good? How's his mental outlook on things? Is he doing well?
It's very good right now. I went into the jug thinking he was very good too. I was a favorite and I finished last. So
that's horse racing, as we all know.
Yeah, I get it.
So, anything else would you like to tell us? Anything intricate idiosyncrasies with your colt, Warrawee Vital? What's he like? What does he do? Is he friendly? Is he not? What kind of horse is he?
He's a very unsuspecting horse. He's very quiet. He's not really steady yet. He's very kind of physically immature. So to be at this level, I'm very happy with him at this time. Hopefully next year he'll be a bigger, stronger horse.
So you'll bring him back next year as probably a top 4-year-old, and next year one be one of the older horses next year, hopefully.
We hope so, yes.
Well, Robert, thank you so much for your willingness to come up here and answer a couple questions. We wish you nothing but the best in the finals this weekend, and good luck to you and Warrawee Vital.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I will say this: we had 8 elimination races on Friday night, and we had 5 on Saturday night. I tell you, they could not have been more exciting. And I tell you what, the finals, they're only going to be better because all these horses now are going to take place and going to be with each other one more time. And some are going to meet each other for the first time in a few weeks. And it's going to be an exciting weekend. Again, I want to thank John Campbell for letting us, Harris Hoosier Park, host the Breeders' Crown this year. John, thank you so much.
Thanks, Rick. It's always our pleasure to be here at Hoosier. We've got some very exciting races, and we're going to put on a great show. Be, besides the fact that we have this 2020 pandemic to deal with.
Well, we're very, very thrilled that we can't have, while it's a somewhat limited attendance, I'm so glad that we can't have folks here this year for the Breeders' Crown, unlike some of the other bigger races around the country that are, have not been able to have attendance. We are going to have a limited amount. So, but for those who can't be here, we're going to be streaming the races online. We'll be, you'll be able to find us on any major ADW platform and any minor ADW platform for that matter. So it's going to be an outstanding weekend. Thank you for joining us. And that concludes our post draw for this evening.
Yep. You got me? I got him. I'm talking to him. Okay. All right, everybody, we are going to get started here momentarily for the IHRA banquet. If you guys want to grab your hors d'oeuvres. and start heading to your seats. We will get started in just a moment. All right, everybody, this is your last chance warning. That sounds good, guys. All right. If everybody wants to take your seat, we are going to get started here momentarily, okay?
Comes away, parked in third. Schnitzel do something down to the inside fourth.
Hello, everyone. Okay, we got this mic figured out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 7th annual IHRA. This is our annual Hall of Fame induction, and very happy to be here. I am racing Rachel from Indiana Grand, Rachel McLaughlin, and I'm happy to be with you guys this evening to honor some very special people this evening. Tonight, we will be honoring our inductees, John Shuster, aka Johnny B, as I used to call him, and Mike Smith. So it's going to be an amazing dinner, and we're so glad you guys could make it for this evening's event. In the midst of Breeders' Crown and everything that's going on, it's a very exciting evening. We do have some special guests here that we would like to honor as well. So please join me in welcoming. We do want to let you know that the Indiana Horse Racing Association Board of Directors is here. Trent McIntosh, the Harris Hoosier Park Senior Vice President and General Manager. Mike Rich, the Indiana Grand Racing and Casino Senior Vice President and General Manager. Rick Moore, our Harris Hoosier Park Vice President and General Manager of Racing. And Eric Holstrom, the Indiana Grand Vice President and General Manager of Racing. I'd like to welcome Joe Putnam. Says he's here. I don't see Joe, but Joe Putnam from the ISA. Paul Martin is here from the QHRAI. Joe Davis is representing the HBPA. And we would like to also welcome Dina Pittman, IHRC Executive Director, and Tom Linkmeyer, the IHRC Deputy Director. We would like to welcome everyone from the Indiana Horse Racing Commission, the commissioners and staff. Thank you for being here. And the members of all of our Indiana breed organizations. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for being a part of our special event, our Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. And now we are going to bring up the one and only fearless leader of Harris Hoosier Park, our Vice President and General Manager of Racing, to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Rick?
Thank you, Rachel. If everyone would stand and join me with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rick. And now I would like to bring Claudine Webb, that is our Indiana Standardbred Association chaplain, for the invocation. Would you like to come down here? I get a little shy when I don't know. I have to make sure there's a chaplain here. One time I asked for the chaplain to come down and do a prayer, and he wasn't here, and I had to give it. And some of you saw that, and I see you smiling. It was a great time. So thank you for being here.
Would you like to do this one?
No.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you for this opportunity that we can all gather together. We just thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for the food that we're about to receive, and we just ask that you will nourish us, bring healing to our bodies and strength, and we'll give you all the thanks. And Father, as we leave this place this evening, we just pray for your safety out on the highway, that you'll bless each one with safety, that we'll arrive at our destination safe and sound. And Father, as you have blessed us, may we be a blessing to someone else. And we'll give you all the thanks in your precious name. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Trent McIntosh, our Senior Vice President and GM, for a special message. Trent.
Thank you. So anybody who knows me very well knows that I'm not the biggest fan of public speaking and probably not the best at it. But not having to wear a mask tonight, I may stay up here for a while. Hopefully you guys will humor me. First off, I just want to thank everybody who's in attendance tonight, who made it out to honor our inductees, and all of those who are viewing us through the live stream as well. Much appreciated. It shows that you all care so much about Indiana horse racing. I'd also like to take a minute to thank some very special groups that help us do everything that we do at the properties. And help us to be successful. The Indiana Standardbred Association, who I know we have representation from all of our groups tonight. The Indiana HBPA, right? ITOBA, and the Indiana Quarter Horse Racing Association. All of those groups. This hasn't been a year. I've been in racing for 25 years in one form or another. This hasn't been a year like any other that I've been a part of. And I think everybody would agree, it's not just horse racing, it's the world. But the way that those groups were able to interact with the properties, and I'll speak for myself and Mike and Caesars Entertainment in general, we didn't get together and talk about how we're going to navigate through this and what's best for Harris Hoosier Park or Indiana Grand, or individually any of the horsemen's groups, not the thoroughbred owners and breeders, not the trainers, not the HBPA, not the Standardbred Association. It was about what's best for Indiana horse racing and how we're going to get this thing back on its feet. And I think the bottom line is thankful to have groups, again, been in this for 25 years. It's not always that way, but thankful to have groups to work with that all will work for a common goal. And I think the results have spoken for themselves this year, even in a year of COVID. I'd also like to thank the Indiana Horse Racing Commission, who, I think whether it was with us or the Horsemen's Associations, we were on the phone together at nights, short notice, trying to pull meetings together via Zoom, which we didn't even know how to operate at the time. And Dina and Tom and team were, always helped us through that and helped us navigate our way back to an early start, what I think is an early start in the middle of June of live racing. And then we've had these seasons where Indiana Grand, correct me if I'm wrong, I think is up over 50% this year, year over year. Hoosier Park was up 25+% this year. So really put up some phenomenal results in some really trying conditions. And I think those groups that I just mentioned were all a key part of helping us to be successful this year and helping horse racing in Indiana to be successful. And the reason we're all here tonight is to honor our inductees. So I'm going to keep this brief because I know there are some people that are going to give some full reviews and background on both of these inductees. And Mr. Mike Smith and Mr. John Shuster. But when I think about the Indiana Horse Racing Hall of Fame, there's a few things that I think about. And I would think that, if you look down that list of past members, you want these people to be people that operated with high integrity every day. You want these people to be people that were successful in their part of the business every day. And you want these people to be people that helped make Indiana horse racing better in some way. And I think these two inductees embody those three characteristics. And that may not be the definition that's written on the Hall of Fame, but that's how I view it. And I think if you look at this 10 minutes from now, or if you look at it 20 years from now, I think you'll find that these two people left their mark on Indiana horse racing. So thank you all. One last note I wanted to mention and thank the Hambletonian Society, because they as well, right, we're in a COVID year. We agreed and worked with Hambletonian Society on hosting the Breeders' Crown this year. Nothing normal about it. And, the Hambletonian Society worked closely with the team here at Harris Hoosier Park throughout the year. And believe me, there were days when things, decisions we were making, things that they wanted to see, weren't always meeting perfectly, but we always came together to figure out what's best for the Breeders' Crown and what's best for horse racing in Indiana. And I think that we are on the cusp of putting on a fantastic show this next Friday and Saturday. So thank you all as well. With that said, I'm going to kick this off. We've got a short video clip that we want to show. So thank you.
The Breeders' Crown, presented by the Liebfeld Cats Breeding Partnership, is harness racing's richest and most prestigious championship event, with $6 million in purses over 2 nights. Tune in on October 30th and 31st to watch and wager on the 37th edition of the Breeders' Crown. Live from Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino. First post is 6 p.m. Eastern Time, both nights. Visit harrahshoosierpark.com for a live stream, a complimentary race program, and more information on ticket availability. The 2020 Breeders' Crown will be a ticketed-only event held in a reduced capacity format. Visit harrahshoosierpark.com for more info.
I've been pretty lucky to be a part of most of these Hall of Fame induction dinners, a part of it. And this one's really special for me, as well as a couple of guys that I've worked very closely with are inductees. But to give you more of the history on our Horse Racing Hall of Fame, I'd like to welcome back up Rick Moore, our Vice President and General Manager of Harris Hoosier Park.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it. First and foremost, I'd like to recognize the Board of Directors of the Indiana Horse Racing Association and for their contributions to this organization and the Hall of Fame. They are, in alphabetical order, Joe Davis, Eric Hallstrom, Paul Martin, Trent McIntosh, Joe Putnam, Mike Rich, and myself. I would like to thank the Indiana Horse Racing Commission, Indiana Standardbred Association, Indiana Horsemen's Benevolent Protection Association, Quarter Horse Racing Association of Indiana, Indiana Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association, and our teams at both Harris Hoosier Park and Indiana Grand for their ongoing support of the Indiana Horse Racing Association. The Indiana Horse Racing Association, or IHRA, is a Indiana nonprofit corporation that was founded in 2014 for the following purposes. 1, establishing and maintaining the Indiana Horse Racing Hall of Fame to recognize leaders in the Indiana horse racing industry. 2, preserving the history, heritage, and traditions of our sport. And 3, educating the public about the rich and colorful history of horse racing in Indiana and its many contributions to Indiana agriculture and Indiana's economy. Admission into the Indiana Horse Racing Association Hall of Fame is determined by a vote of the directors of the IHRA. To be eligible for admission, a person must have made long-lasting and substantial contributions for the benefit and advancement of the sport of horse racing in Indiana. At this time, I would like to recognize our past Hall of Fame inductees. The Honorable Lawrence M. Borst, Mr. Michael G. Schaefer, the Honorable Dick Thompson, Mr. Ralph Wilfong, Mr. Harold Barnes, Mary Holman George, Senator Robert Jackman, Don Myers, the Honorable Howard Luke A. Kenley, Lynn George Wilfong, Raymond J. Steve Pankey, Sarah McNaught, Howard Clark Pete Peterson, James R. Jim Elliott, and Roderick J. Ratcliffe. We are honored to welcome tonight's inductees into the Indiana Horse Racing Hall of Fame. The portraits that will be unveiled tonight have been painted by Melinda Spear Huff and will be hung in the mezzanine at Indiana Grand Racing Casino. And I will tell you, she is just a marvelous talent. And with that, I will bring Rachel back up to start the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Rachel?
To kick things off this evening and to present our first portrait and a reading for our first inductee, I would like to welcome up the Vice President and General Manager of Racing at Indiana Grand, Eric Hallstrom. Eric?
Thanks, Rachel. You know, John had a legion of friends in the industry, not just here in Indiana. I considered myself to be one of those. You know, John was a good man, and it's much my pleasure and honor to be able to do this tonight, especially with the family here, who I've gotten to know and, you know, really appreciate. So, you know, John's name was synonymous with Indiana Grand. He was on the initial team that opened Indiana Downs in 2002. And quickly moved into the general manager position the next year. Later in 2013, he was promoted to vice president and general manager of racing at the facility, and he served in that capacity all the way up till his passing last Christmas. John was a true champion for Indiana horse racing and played a major role in the upward movement of the industry in the state. John was a native of Brazil, Indiana, a 1976 graduate of Warren Central High School, and also the University of Arizona's racetrack industry program, which I was there too. Fantastic program there. John preceded me a little bit, but you know, I knew of John originally from my Arizona connection. He worked in several leadership capacities in racing, including the position of mutual manager and simulcast coordinator at Penn National before relocating back to Indiana in 2002. John oversaw operations of the standardbred season at then Indiana Downs until the meet was moved to Harrah's-Hoosier Park here in 2013. During his tenure with standardbred racing, he supported several innovative concepts, and I wasn't even aware of some of this, including a turf race. Let's see that one. All gray horse race and unique distances for standardbreds. Always evaluating and monitoring business levels, John oversaw numerous initiatives and was very creative with post-time placements, group outings, and horsemen and horsewomen benefits during racing. He and his wife, Janie, were very involved in the Shelbyville community through various projects and attended numerous events annually showing their support and representing then Indiana Downs. John was also a part of the team that implemented one breed, one track, when racing was separated, placing all thoroughbred and quarter horse racing at Indiana Grand. John was appointed by the governor to serve on the Thoroughbred Breed Development Advisory Committee and was also an initial board member of the Indiana Horse Racing Association. In addition to serving the state in horse racing, John was honored with a special recognition award for his contribution to quarter horse racing by the QHRA in 2018. And in addition to that, John was inducted in the 2018 Indiana Thoroughbred Hall of Distinction. Outside for his passion for racing, John was an avid tennis player and a great family man. He and Janie have 4 daughters, Abby, Rachel, Hannah, and Chelsea, a very good family that I'm very honored to know myself. So for this moment and my real pleasure, we'd like to induct John into the Hall of Fame. Okay. Okay, so whereas Jonathan B. John Shuster of Shelbyville was a true champion for Indiana horse racing and played a major role in the upward movement of the industry in the state of Indiana, a native of Brazil, Indiana, John graduated from Warren Central High School. Whereas John was called upon to serve on the initial team that opened Indiana Downs Racetrack in 2002, Indiana Downs is the second parimutuel live racing facility in the state, and John was later named VP and General Manager, as I mentioned. Whereas John was instrumental in the plan and the execution for One Breed, One Track initiative under the ownership of Centaur Game for 2 tracks. Whereas John's passion for horse racing also earned him honors and special recognitions from the Quarter Horse Association and the Indiana Thoroughbred Hall of Distinction. Now, therefore, the Indiana Horse Racing Association Incorporated Board of Directors unanimously finds that Jonathan B. Shuster has met the strict criteria for admission into the Hall of Fame and that he has made long-lasting and substantial contributions for the benefit and advancement of the sport of horse racing in Indiana, nominates Jonathan B. John Shuster posthumously for admission into the Indiana Horse Racing Association Hall of Fame, directs that a copy of this resolution be sent to the family of Jonathan B. John Shuster, and further directs that a portrait bearing the likeness of Jonathan B. John Shuster be hung in an appropriate location at Indiana Grand Racecourse. Yeah. Will the family please come up?
Yeah. Heidi, do you want to talk? Hi.
I can. As you know, I was not the speaker in this family, but John would think it's preposterous that he would be included in a group such as this, but on behalf of the family, we are so honored that you have chosen to remember him in this way. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
And next up, to continue our inductee ceremony, we do have our next portrait to be presented here, and to present that one, we have returning to the podium our General Manager and Vice President Rick Moore from Harris Hoosier Park. Rick, for you to do the reading and the portrait presentation of Mike Smith.
Thank you, Rachel. You know, it's I got a few things I'm going to say, I got in print here to say about Mike, but this is really a privilege for me. I got to know Mike fairly well during his tenure as Executive Director of the Indiana Horse Racing Commission. And in fact, Mike would come to my office and we spend long, you know, it seemed like hours just talking about horse racing in general and our thoughts. And, you know, it was just a free-flowing conversation. You know, I'm proud to, you know, call Mike a friend. It's, you know, a privilege to be here to introduce him this evening. And Mike, I'm so glad you're here. But for those who don't know about Mike, and I think everyone does, but I do have a few facts I want to say about Mike. And then I'm going to have someone else to come up and say a few things about Mike before we do the resolution. But You know, Mike's experience as a standardbred breeder, owner, and driver made him an ideal choice for the position of executive director of the Indiana Horse Racing Commission. During his tenure, along with the help of a great staff who's here tonight, Mike brought a different approach to regulating the horse racing industry, all the while maintaining the highest levels of integrity. Mike became a stalwart in promoting horse racing in Indiana in addition to regulating the industry. In fact, Indiana stands alone with having the only regulatory body that promotes and regulates horse racing. Mike worked hard to encourage open communication between the horsemen's groups and track management. Mike and his staff introduced a state-of-the-art online licensing program, making it much easier for folks to get licensed in the state of Indiana. During Mike's tenure, the breed development programs expanded and flourished, making Indiana the ideal state to breed and race Indiana sired and bred horses. While Mike brought an even-handed approach to his position, he also expanded the drug testing procedures, creating a level playing field for those choosing to race in Indiana. And Mike, that's so important, and we thank you for what you did there. Mike was born and raised in Rensselaer, graduated from Rensselaer Central Schools in 1971, and graduated from International College in 1973 with an associate degree in business administration. He also holds licenses, certificates, and degrees in insurance, real estate brokerage, and financial counseling. Mike's government relations experience included more than 5 terms as a state representative, 2 years serving as assistant caucus chairman, and 4 years as Republican floor leader, which is the #2 leadership position in the caucus. Mike has always been a big supporter of legislation to protect the horse racing industry, knowing the impact it has had on agribusiness in Indiana. Along with his work in the horse racing industry, he has also held positions in the gaming world as executive director of the Casino Association of Indiana, where he worked closely with the IGC and ATC on rules and standards for the gaming industry to operate under. He also served more than 12 years on the Problem Gaming Council and led efforts to ensure stability for the Indiana Council on Problem Gaming, and served as a liaison between the Indiana Gaming Commission and involved state agencies. Mike has been recognized for his long hours of hard work and dedication by receiving several outstanding awards, including Government Leader of the 1995 Indiana State Chamber of Commerce, Champion of Small Business from the Indiana Small Business Council, Legislator of the Year 1985, Insurance Institute of Indiana, Statesmanship Award from the House Democratic Caucus 2000, Outstanding Support of the Judiciary, Indiana Judges Association, Defender of Freedom from the National Rifle Association, 1996, Sagamore of the Wabash, both under Governor Frank O'Bannon and Governor Mike Pence. And the Indiana Standardbred Association Pinnacle Award winner in 2018. Hobbies outside of gaming and horse racing include flying, martial arts, he's a black belt, 2008, don't fool around with this guy, and spending time with his family and 3 grandchildren. Mike, you spent a lot of time serving, doing public service, serving the public, serving the horse racing industry, serving the citizens of the state of Indiana. And before we induct you into the Indiana Horse Racing Association Hall of Fame, I am honored to call to the podium Ms. Dina Pittman, the Executive Director of the Indiana Horse Racing Commission, to say a few words about you, Mike Smith. Dina, the microphone is all yours.
Don't embarrass me. While most everyone here has had a personal connection with Mike, whether it's been with horse racing, his time at the Casino Association, or during his time as a state representative, there is no doubt your association has probably had a lasting effect on you in some manner. Mine comes from a close association with him as my employer. When I heard that Mike was willing to give up his retirement, and for those that know him well, that word has never been in Mike's vocabulary, and a condo in Florida to head back to Indiana in February of all months, to take over the reins of the Indiana Horse Racing Commission, I had a number of emotions run through me. True surprise at his acceptance, relief the commission's search for its next executive director was over, and apprehension about the future. However, based on his arrival, all those emotions quickly subsided. Because, I mean, come on, it's Mike Smith. The man simply is gifted at making you comfortable. Since day one, Mike's biggest priority was to get to know each of the employees he inherited. And he was deeply committed to getting to know them, not only in becoming familiar with their job duties, but in their personal life and families as well. And in the eyes of his staff, that instantly made him more than just an agency head or boss. He was someone they could depend on professionally and personally. Most of you here tonight know and can agree that Mike is a people person, and knowing him has made a difference to you in some way. I recognize I'm a better person for knowing him and truly appreciate having had the opportunity to work with him for the time he was with the commission. Those years allowed me to grow in numerous ways, both professionally and personally, and I appreciate having him as a mentor and friend. I also know I can pick up the phone and call him at any time, and he'll take my call because he still cares. He still has an interest in what's happening in the industry, and if there's something that might take that Mike touch, he's happy to help. There's no doubt that during Mike's leadership as this agency's executive director, he has been responsible for setting the stage and moving Indiana to the next level. And for that, we all thank you, Mike. I wish, along with the rest of the commission and staff, to congratulate you on your well-deserved induction into the Indiana Horse Racing Hall of Fame.
And now, it's my honor to read the resolution that will induct Mike Smith into the IHRA Hall of Fame. Whereas Michael D. Mike Smith of Rensselaer, Indiana, has been a longtime owner, breeder, and driver of standardbred horses and had led much of his life devoted to the Indiana horse racing industry. Whereas Mike served the citizens of the state of Indiana during his 5 terms as a state representative, including 2 years as assistant caucus chairman and 4 years as a Republican floor leader. Whereas Mike served the Indiana horse racing industry as executive director of the Indiana Horse Racing Commission. Whereas Mike, in addition to regulating the Indiana horse racing industry, also marketed it and promoted it in a way that no other regulatory body has ever done. Whereas Mike has always supported legislation that would benefit the Indiana horse racing industry, along with agribusiness in general. Whereas Mike played an integral part in making the inaugural 2017 Breeders' Crown event at Harrah's Hoosier Park such an outstanding success. Whereas Mike is respected and appreciated by all facets of the Indiana horse racing industry for his leadership in his art of regulating a very diverse industry with an even-handed approach with all. Now, therefore, the Indiana Horse Racing Association Incorporated Board of Directors unanimously finds that Michael D. Mike Smith has met the strict criteria for admission into the Hall of Fame in that he has made long-lasting and substantial contributions for the benefit and advancement of the sport of horse racing in Indiana. Nominates Michael D. Mike Smith for admission into the Indiana Horse Racing Association Hall of Fame. Directs that a copy of this resolution be sent to Michael D. Mike Smith, and further directs that a portrait bearing the likeness of Michael D. Mike Smith be hung in an appropriate location at Indiana Grand Racecourse. Mike, I would like you to come forward as we unveil your picture and then say a few words, please. Mike Smith. Eric?
trying to get at the hair. Beautiful picture without hair. Thank you, Rick, and everybody that's here this evening. I do have to make a comment about these, but first I would like to acknowledge what an honor it is to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with John. Never a better guy, more upstanding and committed to the horse racing industry than John Shuster, and I'm proud of that fact in and of itself. I'm really humbled to be here this evening, and when Rick let me know that I had been nominated to the Hall of Fame, I thought, oh my God, somebody got my driving record out. And I was thinking back about, and I think you go to the USTA, you can't find much of my driving record because it happened that long ago. But we had, over the years, my family's been obviously involved in horse racing. And to me, it was a way of growing up and learning what responsibility was to get up every day, go train horses, go to work, go to school. When I got out of school, actually got out of high school, my mom had organized a party at my house. And I left them all there. Me and a friend of mine had a horse loaded up in the trailer. We were headed to the Fleabag Motel in Lebanon, Ohio to race over there. And, to be a part of this project, this program, and, I would have never guessed that I would have ended up at the Horse Racing Commission in a million years. But it's something that, I'd like to thank both Governor Holcomb, Governor Vice President Pence, and the commission for giving me the opportunity to be involved, and also the support that they gave me through my tenure was just incredible. And certainly the staff that's here today, Dina and the crew and the judges, everybody that's been a part of this group is really, really work hard to make Indiana a great place to race, to raise your colts, and to be in the breeding program. And we hope that continues forever. And who knows, maybe someday I can talk the governor into putting me on the commission or something. Like, still be a pain because retirement's not a lot of fun. But I got to say, I was going back to my driving record. Actually, I had a fairly good, nothing quite like Dave McGee, but it's interesting because I've got wind pictures where Dave McGee drove my horses in Chicago, and I had warmed him up, and I'm standing there in my colors, and he's got the big grin on his face. And we won a big stake race one night against. I had a $3,500 horse in against one of George Steinbrenner's, and my driver got off of it, so I went to the second choice, went to McGee, asked him if he'd drive my horse, and he said, sure, I'd be happy to. And the guy that had Steinbrenner's horse told me it was the best horse in the country. So Dave said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I came here to win. I didn't come here to be second. I came to win. So he pulls him 4 wide at the top of the turn at Sportsman's Park, and he wins going away. And it's one of those moments you never forget in your life. And I said, so I've got the best horse in the country. And he said, well, maybe the second best, but you got the best driver. And which was absolutely true. But the whole racing industry in Indiana is something special. It was designed to be something special. And everything that we've tried to do in both this administration and past administrations is put together a program that's sustainable. And no matter what, horse racing in Indiana will exist, and hopefully it will thrive over the next several years. We get through the COVID, get rid of the, I gotta add this too, for you standardbred folks will get a kick out of this. Every time I put this on, I think about a towel under the crupper. I think about that. Now, the next time you put on your face mask and think about putting a towel under the crupper, it would be forever. But it's very much an honor, a pleasure to be here tonight, and appreciate the opportunity. My wife, actually, they say there's nothing better than a good dog, a fast racehorse, and an understanding wife. And I've got to thank my wife for allowing me all these years to be a reverse commuter, to do things that I really have enjoyed doing. And she's at home tonight, Her test from COVID came back negative this morning. That's the reason I could be here today. But she's at home watching with the family, and I just want to say thank you. I love you and appreciate you letting me do the things I've been fortunate enough to do. And Rick and the whole crew here, couldn't be a better bunch of people to shepherd the racing in the future, and I look forward to helping in any way I can. Thank you all very much. The ice cream.
Inside joke, Mike says he misses the ice cream. We'll see what we can do about that, okay? So I'm going to turn it back to Rachel in just a second, but I do want to let everyone know, when we met, the board of directors, when we met in the springtime to talk about who we would nominate for induction into the Hall of Fame this year, the discussion lasted about 30 seconds. And there was two names. It was John Shuster and Mike Smith. And it was like, wow, of course. And really, I literally didn't last 30 to 60 seconds. Two giants of the Indiana horse racing industry. And I'm proud to be able to call both of them friends. With that, I'll turn it back over to Rachel.
Before I thank everyone and conclude the event, I just want everyone to give one more round of applause for our inductees this evening and their families and everyone for joining us. For Mike Smith and John Shuster, let's hear it one more time. Other than being amazing guys for the industry, they really are, like Dina said, always makes you feel comfortable. And John was always good for his dorky dad jokes that I know we all loved so much. And every day coming to work and seeing you guys will always put a smile on all of our faces. So we're all very lucky to have John and Mike in our lives. So congratulations to both them, to you guys, to his family, and to you, Mike. And thank you all for being here in these unprecedented times, for joining us in the Hall of Fame inductee dinner. Good night.